If you've never lived alone before, I'm sure you have a very interesting view of people who do live alone. You're probably like, what's their deal? Do you have any friends? Do we live a life of isolation? Do you have any pets? You don't? Oh my god. You should get a dog or a cat. What do you do? What do you do living alone? Is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. Okay, but on the real, that is really how I feel questions are. I have been living alone for almost 2 years in this beautiful, extremely expensive apartment. I literally cannot afford this place. But I thought it was so important to me because one day I will be married and I will have kids and I will look back at this blissful moment in my life and be like, I miss that. But living alone is hands down probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. And the first reason why you should live alone is no pants energy. There's a very high chance, actually I can verify, I'm not wearing pants right now. I'm literally sitting on my floor, talking to a camera, telling you guys I'm not wearing pants. But the no pants energy is my favorite way to describe the pure essence of living alone. You can walk around naked. Have you ever done that? Perhaps not. Perhaps you have to wait until a family member or your roommate or your significant other, which I hope not, that's not the case, leaves the house for you to walk around blissfully naked every day. That's a lot for people to take in. If you wear jeans, don't even watch this video. But also, you can listen to all the music that you want at a very loud volume. I know this sounds okay, I can do that with my roommate. No boo, you can't. Okay, if I wanna listen to Blow the Whistle by Too Short, do you think my roommate or my boyfriend wants to listen to that every day? All day? Play Blow the Whistle. I go on and on. I don't think so. And why do you think I have a large mirror in my living room? Do you think it's for the selfies? No, it's because I literally have a dance party at 6:45 p.m. every single day. It's literally me and I am my own backup dancer. It's a lot happening on this end. It gets weird when you live alone, let me just say that. So what I'm trying to say is this is my full space. There is a freeing sense of independence that comes with living alone. You know what I mean? You don't have to stack up the dishwasher the way that your roommate likes it. You don't have to clean the dishes the moment it gets in the sink. Okay, think about it. You know when your family members, your parents, or your roommates, or your significant other leaves the house for a moment, maybe they're going to work or running an errand, and you have maybe a couple hours to do you and have that me time? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? But just imagine that they never come back home. Oh my god, so grim. You know what I mean? In a positive way. And maybe you just need a moment to gather your thoughts and be really sad and cry all day and listen to really depressing music on loud and sit on the bottom of your shower floor and just cry and talk to yourself and give yourself advice. Sometimes you need to do that, but you cannot, and you're almost limited to doing that if you live with someone. So that is a no pants energy. There's a lot to take in, but it is the best energy. So this brings me to the second reason why you should live alone, and that is me time all the time. For some of you, this sounds like an actual nightmare. If you've never lived alone, if you don't like yourself, if you've been dependent on someone your whole life, if you're one of those girls that's I've never not been in a relationship before, this is perhaps your nightmare, and I think you need this. I feel like I had the worst case scenario with moving into an apartment alone. I had just gotten out of a 3-year relationship living with my significant other. I had to get out of my apartment. I could not afford to get an apartment, and living with mom and dad was not an option. I did live with them for a couple weeks to find my new place, but all in all, I knew that when I moved into this apartment, as beautiful as it is, I would have to grieve my relationship alone here with minimal friends. And it was hard, but in that time, oh my gosh, I had me time every single day. And I saw myself in the lowest of moments crying in my shower, just every day, crying every single day. And then I saw myself in the happiest of moments of euphoria where I'm like, wow, oh my God, I don't need anyone. I can take care of myself. I'm responsible for myself. I can pay for my own bills. I can take care of Negin. That was the biggest turning point for me, was in that me time, I discovered who Negin was. And if you're feeling lost in your life, if you're feeling out of touch with yourself, disconnected, you haven't made yourself proud, you haven't made anyone proud, or whatever reason it is that you're unhappy inside, I recommend that you experience solitude. Well, you know, what I mean with like living alone. You can live alone and still have friends and see people and go out and whatever, but it's the pure essence of this silence. And oh my God, can I just say, I'm like cheesing, because one of the highlights of me time in my apartment alone is ordering my favorite meal, which is sushi. Like, you guys, I do this at least once a week. I set aside like $50. I know it's a lot of money, but I'm like, you know what? If I worked really hard this week, I'm going to treat myself. And the way that I treat myself is I order a lot of sushi and I turn on a new show, which at the moment it's America's Next Top Model, and I cannot express to you enough, like I get on the floor and I just eat sushi, and it is such an incredible feeling. Like, I'm so happy because I hit a point with myself that I'm okay being alone. Like, I'm not lonely if I'm alone. And if you can master that, you have excelled in life. Me time is difficult for those who cannot deal with being alone with themselves. So if you don't like yourself, you need quality time with yourself, and you need to find out, why do I not love myself, and how can I make other people love me as much as I love myself? Because let me tell you, boo, if you want someone else to love you, they're not going to unless you love yourself. And that was my issue. That was something that I kept running into. I was like, wow, like, why can't I find a boyfriend? Like, why aren't people like wanting to be with me? Well, at the time, I did not want to be with myself. So I had to reach that point, and I can confidently say, like, yeah, I'm at a point where I'm pretty happy with myself. That got deep, but we had to get there, right? You have to get there. And that's the whole point of me time. Like, you have to realize how capable you are of taking care of yourself. You'll learn that no one is gonna help you but yourself. And that is all about character development. Something to think about. The third reason, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble, but just hear me out. It's a little TMI, and let me say, living alone, I went through a full-on hoe phase. I feel like no one's talking about this. I feel like no one is talking about the hoe phase that you experience living alone. Like, when you live with someone, you're either confined into your bedroom, like you bring a guy over and you're like, oh, we're gonna be in my room, like, let me know if you need anything. Or you wait for them to leave the house and you're like, wow, finally we can like not be stuck in my bedroom all night. The hoe phase is the best phase. Oh my gosh. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to ask to bring a guy over. I don't want to get permission to bring someone over at 3 a.m. But can I just say, like, having a friend over, or any of my friends over, and having people in my space is so nice. Like, what a freedom. You don't have to ask anyone anything. You don't have to be like, oh, by the way, so-and-so is gonna come over, just letting you know. No, boo, we're not asking anyone. This is my home. You don't have to lower your voice in your bedroom. You don't have to talk quietly, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to, because you make the rules. It was a pivotal moment in living alone where I was blaring my music, dancing around like crazy, and inviting guys over left and right without judgment. I mean, other than myself. Yeah, if you're also getting out of your relationship and you're living alone and you're watching this video for tips, you should encounter the hoe phase. I think everyone should. Be safe. And I'm sorry for parents that are watching this, but I'm gonna give it to you real. There's a lot of character development within that region too. The fourth and very last reason is this should be a gift to yourself as a person, which really just ties in everything together. Because I want you to think of it this way, right? Every other mammal is born and then they're independent after a while, but we are very dependent on mom and dad or whoever our caretakers are. We live in a space with other individuals. Then some of us go to college and we live in a dorm or we live with a roommate. And then some of us, more often or not, we continue living with roommates or a significant other. And we live with our significant other until marriage, and then we have kids, and then when they all die, we are alone. Oh my God, I'm so morbid. But like when our significant other dies and we're really, really old, that is literally the only pocket of time where you're living alone. Like, think about it. Like, honestly, like, what other time than now would you live alone? Because that's kind of like how society has set it up. I know this is like super deep and I was not intending for this video to be like that deep, but quite honestly, like it is. Like, what other time are you gonna have an opportunity to live alone and get to know yourself? And you know how I justify it? I justify this beautiful apartment by knowing that one day I will be married, I will have kids, and I will always look back on this time in my life, which I will probably wish I had. So that's what I think of. But on the real, I am so happy that I got to experience this at some point in my life. If you're really nervous to live alone, you're afraid, being lonely and being alone is extremely terrifying for you, or maybe you have no other choice, I want you to know that you are okay, you will be okay, and you will have that euphoric moment, perhaps in the shower or whenever you're having a really good day just with yourself, and you're gonna be like, wow, I am so happy I did this for myself. I'm so happy that I got to experience living alone. And it's gonna take hard work. If you've never lived alone before, you're gonna have to put in effort into yourself and making plans with friends, inviting people over. Like, you can't pity yourself for living alone. And it's gonna be harder for those who wallow and they don't like do things. You really have to look forward to something every single day to survive in the living alone world. But you can do it, and this is going to be a great way to show you that you are capable. So if you are at a crossroads and you're watching this video not knowing if you should live alone or if you're going to survive or if it's as scary as it seems, it's gonna be hard some nights. Some nights are gonna be lonely. Some nights are gonna be very, very painful. But with risk comes reward, and there's gonna be some incredible nights where you're gonna be journaling, where you're gonna be listening to your favorite songs on loud throughout your whole home, or having people over, having a party, like being in a space that you created with your decor, with things that you love. And that, my friends, is a moment that makes it worth it all. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever lived alone before? And if you have, what have been your favorite moments? If you want me to make a video on some of the challenging parts of living alone that maybe people don't really talk about, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and you can support me by subscribing to my channel. So I will see you in my next video next Wednesday. And thank you for watching this video. I hope it was really, really helpful for you. So I will see you in my next video. Kisses, you guys.